If you've ever watched a fence, deck or shed decay before your eyes, you know how frustrating it is to invest in wood only for it to rot within a few years. Yet Viking ships braved stormy seas, and timber-framed halls stood for centuries. Their secret wasn't a modern chemical or fancy coating. It was a simple lost fix that made wood naturally rot-resistant. Unlike modern construction, which tries to seal water out, Vikings prepared timber so that water could pass without damaging it, and decay organisms had nothing to feed on. For backyard builders, homesteaders or survivalists, this forgotten method is both accessible and revolutionary, offering a way to make your outdoor projects last for decades, even generations. The Vikings, treated wood as a living material that needed preparation. Modern building, well, it treats timber like an inert material that can be coated or sealed to achieve longevity. But the Vikings understood that wood is alive with cellular fibers that respond to moisture, temperature, and pressure. Instead of trying to lock water out, they prepared the wood to handle wetting and drying cycles without breaking down. They removed the nutrients fungi need, managed moisture movement, and hardened the fibers, all before any structure was even built. In practical backyard terms, this means preparation is more effective than any surface coating. Proper selection, soaking, and slow drying change the fundamental durability of wood. Vikings didn't just pick the first tree they saw. They favoured slow-grown, dense heartwood with minimal sapwood. Sapwood contains sugars and starches that fungi thrive on, while heartwood is naturally resistant. Trees were felled during winter dormancy, when sap content was lowest. This simple timing reduced the risk of decay dramatically. Backyard builders can apply this principle by choosing heartwood-rich lumber and sourcing wood cut in dormant seasons whenever possible. Even small changes in timber selection drastically improve lifespan. One of the most powerful steps in the Viking fix was soaking timber in rivers, ponds, or tidal areas before construction. This process, leached out sugars and starches, reducing the food available for decay fungi. Cold water, it slowed microbial activity while the wood absorbed moisture uniformly, making it more resilient to those later wet-dry cycles. For modern DIY projects, soaking posts, beams, or garden bed frames for several weeks before slow drying can, in fact, replicate this effect, providing a natural and chemical-free boost in rot resistance. After soaking, timber was dried slowly under cover with good airflow. This allowed cell walls to compress evenly, making the wood denser and tougher, while also minimizing cracks. Modern kiln-dried wood is often stressed and, prone to cracking when exposed to moisture changes. But, slow air-dried wood develops a natural resilience. Stacking lumber properly, protecting it from direct rain, and letting it dry gradually can honestly give backyard wood the same durability medieval builders achieved. Vikings sometimes applied controlled heat or light charring to timber surfaces. This, in turn, killed surface fungi, hardened fibres, and reduced moisture absorption. The wood was then coated with natural oils, tallow waxes, or pine tar. Unlike modern paints or synthetic sealants, these substances penetrated deeply and remained flexible, allowing the wood to expand and contract without cracking. For do-it-yourself backyard application, lightly torch wood surfaces, brush away loose carbon, and apply warmed oil or tar. Reapply periodically for long-term protection. Viking buildings weren't just treated, they were designed to manage water. Steep roofs, generous overhangs, elevated posts, and beveled joints allowed water to drain quickly. Air circulation around timber prevented moisture from lingering and creating conditions for rot. So, backyard builders can, emulate this by elevating posts on stones, sloping horizontal surfaces, and making sure there's airflow around their structures. Drainage and exposure management, honestly, are just as important as the timber treatment itself. Vikings, they actually expected regular maintenance. Surfaces were re-oiled or re-tarred, minor damage was repaired promptly, and timber was inspected routinely. This approach meant that small issues never really developed into decay problems. Modern reliance on so-called maintenance-free coatings, unfortunately, ignores this principle, and that often leads to hidden rot and early failure. For DIY projects, inspection and early repair, combined with periodic reapplication of oils or tar, really ensure your wood continues to perform like it did 1,000 years ago. The lost Viking fix shows that wood longevity depends on preparation, design and care rather than expensive chemicals. Timber selection, winter cutting, soaking, slow drying, surface treatment, smart design, and maintenance all work together to create structures that can endure centuries. Backyard builders, homesteaders, and survivalists can, apply these methods with local materials and simple tools to make fences, decks, sheds, and furniture last far longer than conventional methods allow. If this guide revealed the secret behind Viking timber durability and inspired your next backyard project, do subscribe to Backyard Wisdom, share it with fellow history enthusiasts and DIYers, and help preserve these timeless construction techniques for future generations.